All right.
I'm like a creeper.
Well, we did make a biography one, but then Melissa decided she wanted more time, so. So we're gonna do we're gonna do biography. It's a two-parter. One's gonna be about my life, and the other's gonna be about Melissa's. Yeah, so here we go. I'm gonna start my life off when I was in 4th grade and my parents divorced. It was a pretty emotional time. You know, you're in 4th grade, you don't really understand what's going on when your parents divorce, and it was really hard for me just knowing that the life that I was so used to was getting torn from under me. My dad moved out of our house and took my oldest brother with him, both my brothers actually. So it's just me and my mom. And I'd go over to my dad's house a lot, and I decided that I wanted to go over to my dad's house more than my mom's because my whole life my dad concentrated more on being my friend than being a parent. Which was great when you were little, but now that I'm older, you know, I would have given it all back just for my dad to be a dad to me and not just want to be there to be my friend. My mom got remarried to a guy named Mark Hoover.
Chester.
And we moved to Lowell, and then my dad got remarried to a woman named Kathy and moved to New York. And he took both my brothers with him to New York, and that was probably the worst time for me because my brothers were my world. You know, my dad concentrated more on his love life than raising me and my brothers. So the men in my life were my brothers, given they weren't the best role models to go by, but they were all I had. And it killed me, basically. And I was hardly ever allowed over there because my stepmother doesn't like me, my stepsisters don't like me, so something I had to live with. You know, not a lot of people can tolerate Shana, so whatever. My brother Kyle, who's the middle child, moved back to Michigan after some stuff went down when he was in New York living with my dad. That was actually probably one of the happiest times. I had my big brother back, and that's what I wanted. My mom divorced Mark Hoover my freshman year of high school. My mom divorced him right around the same time I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian disease, PCOD for short. It's a reproductive disease, and it basically means I have a very, very slim chance of ever conceiving a child. So when I was 14, I was told I would never be able to have children. I was 14, I didn't want kids, so it didn't really matter to me. Then a year later, when I was 15, I was getting a physical done to be in the cheer squad again. Yes, they know you're here. To be in the cheer squad again, and I had a heart murmur, and the doctor said, you know, usually it can happen with a cold if you got a respiratory infection or whatever. So I didn't really think much of it. She went and told me to get an EKG done, echocardiogram on my heart, and they found a hole in my heart 13 millimeters in diameter. And if you know anything about the human heart, you know your heart's about the size of your fist. So a 13 millimeter hole is about a third of my heart, was like Swiss cheese. So obviously I needed heart surgery when I was 15 years old. That pretty much was my breaking point because if anyone knew me back then, they knew I was the cheerleader. I was the bubbly one. I was, you know, that's what I did. I was a cheerleader. So after that, my mom went through the divorce and we moved out of the beautiful house that we lived in. And me and my brother got really close for a while. It was mainly because we both did drugs. That's when I started smoking cigarettes, I started smoking pot, and I started doing a little bit of drinking. I never hid anything from my mom, though. I never had to. You know, she was always the parent that said, if you're going to do anything, I want to know about it. I want to not have to wonder where my kid's at night. So if I went out and partied, I told my mom, I'm going to go out and get drunk. And she didn't like it. You know, she would stay up worrying all night, but I never hid it from her. When I was 16... bad things happened in my life. I was partying heavily. I was drinking. I could not go more than 2 to 3 days without getting drunk. I was on the verge of really bad alcoholism. I was depressed because I didn't have a father. I was smoking pot. I started, you know, popping pills, painkillers, you know, Vicodin, Valium, Klonopin, I mean, things that would ease my depression momentarily. um, Dated a guy who could access these drugs very easily, and the whole purpose of me dating him was for the strict reason of easy drug access. Started doing a bunch of cocaine and drinking even more, if that was even possible at that point. I just spent my entire junior year, and senior year of high school just completely withdrawn in my head. I could not tell you the most significant thing that happened to me in those years because I was so high all the time. I met Melissa that year. This girl, my creeper. And I found a really good friendship with her, and that was probably my best part of ever dating this kid, was that I found some amazing friends through him. Sorry about that, Sean. Pretty much I woke up one morning and I decided that I needed to change my life, and it was right around the same time Melissa woke up the same morning and decided she needed to change hers. So we both woke up one morning and said, hey, let's do something different. I quit partying as much. I walked away from the drugs completely cold turkey. Alcohol, I mean, everything I pushed aside. It wasn't for me. I still smoke cigarettes, though, obviously. It was one of the hardest things that I ever had to go through, and I've already, established this image of myself in my family's eyes, and people in this town, if they knew Shana, they knew Shana as that girl that was always high, that girl that was always drunk, and a lot of stuff was really, really hard to deal with. I couldn't handle the stares and the looks and stuff from people, and just the gossip was a big factor, and people calling me left and right to go to parties, and it was ridiculous. You really found out who your real friends were when they called to say, hey, you want to get drunk, and you said, no, I don't do that anymore, and they never talked to you again. So you really found out who sticks by you and who was really there for you. Then I turned 18 and I reconnected with my lover that I met sophomore year in high school at a pool hall in Grand Rapids. And he had a girlfriend at the time. I am so sorry, Lizzie. I did not know he was dating you. No, I really didn't. I had no idea that he was dating her. But he kept wanting me to come down to Illinois. He's like, hey, come down to this Air Force base. Just tear it up for a little bit, come live your life. It'll be a blast. I was like, naturally, all right. Packed all my stuff up one night. It was basically a spur-of-the-moment thing. It was definitely I'm leaving tomorrow, and that's it. I had a hamper of clothes and a suitcase full of hair stuff. That's how I rolled. And I moved down to Illinois and met some pretty cool people down there. Ended up falling in love with this kid in a really, really short time, about 2 months, and I married him. And I got a lot of gossip and crap for that, too. My marriage is gonna last, oh my god, whatever. Because I'm still married. See this? Oh, yeah. Got pregnant. Well, found out I was pregnant about a week after we got married, so we basically got a house, got a car, got married, and had a baby all in the first year of marriage. A lot of stuff. It was a lot of chaos. My son was born November 2nd of 2008, and he was born with a bilateral cleft lip and cleft palate. That means his lip was split right here, right underneath the nose, those two little lines you got on your lip. Yeah, it was split open, and he didn't have a roof to his mouth. He had his first surgery February 7th of 2009. He was 3 months old, and he had a surgery every 3 months since then. Hardest thing you're ever gonna have to go through is watching your kid in pain and knowing there's nothing you can do about it. That was the worst time ever that I could ever go through. He's definitely nowhere near being done with his surgeries. He's gonna need a lot of them as he gets older. Shut up, cell phone. Who is it?
Heather Gibson.
Oh. Hi, Heather. Yeah. My son had a really hard surgery right on Christmas time last year, And we were coming home from the hospital and actually got the phone call that my husband was getting orders to go to Korea on an unaccompanied tour for a year. So I made the decision to come back home while he was in Korea just to be home. I got sick of the military wife. I got sick of being the military wife, which sucks to say because I married into it, but at the same time it's so stressful, and I didn't want the constant reminder that my husband was overseas looking around seeing military uniforms all over. When you're home and you tell someone that your husband's deployed, it's a lot different. People react a lot differently, and it's almost more respectful up here, and that's what I wanted. When I moved back up to Michigan, I reconnected with that boyfriend that does a lot of drugs, or did a lot of drugs. I don't know if he still does. Never did him around me, but whatever. We started off like friends, like really good friends, like we were before we ever dated. And it was great to have that friendship back. My face is cut off, dude. It was great to have that friendship back. It was great to rekindle that and not have to worry about the past and what we did stupidly as a couple. Me and my husband had the discussion to have an open relationship, and we both agreed on it. So naturally, he was the one that I slept with because he was always around. He never left. Never.
I'm sorry.
And I ended up getting pregnant, and at first everything was cool. Well, no, I take that back. It was not cool. He made accusations that it wasn't his. He basically pursued me to be a slut, and I'm not a slut. Get out of here. I'm not a slut. Then he came around when he saw the first ultrasound picture, and he was all excited and ecstatic, and then things happened that shouldn't have ever happened. He was treating like I was his girlfriend, and people were starting to say that I had a husband and a boyfriend. And that wasn't the situation at all. I just had a baby daddy. So, basically, long story short, I moved out of that house and moved in with one of my really good friends. And now, ever since I moved out, it's just been nonstop him just denying that I'm even pregnant at this point anymore. And I'll be 9 weeks pregnant on Thursday. And he stopped coming around about a month ago. So, yeah, he's missed out on a lot. There's some issues, complications going on with the baby right now. I'm on 40% daily bed rest. So, he should really step up. So, if you guys see him, tell him, what's up? Yeah, so now I'm just waiting for my husband to get home, and, you know, I'm going to have this baby in June, and my husband gets home in June, so hopefully he gets home before the baby comes. That'd be awesome. And then we're going to Salt Lake City, Utah, because that's where our next orders are. We're going to live it up with the Mormons, and just me, my husband, and our 2 kids. So, that's my life. I've been through quite a bit. There's some things that, you know, I don't like getting into too much detail about, like, you know, I was molested when I was little by a close family friend, and, you know, my mom is one of the only ones that know about it in my family, and I like to keep it that way because I don't want things awkward. The guy's dead, though. He died. So, guess karma got him, right? There was some date rape drugs when I was partying, and a lot of waking up in the morning and going, who the hell's this guy? It's a lot of bad stuff, and, you know, at least it's safe to say that my kids are never going to get away with anything. Because every trick they're going to pull, I probably invented it. So, that's Shana's biography. Love it.